All righty, folks. One of the things I'm doing with all my millionaires is I'm finding clips that mean something to me, and then I'm playing them and letting my millionaires react. We've got the one and only Kevin O'Leary here this morning for you, Cody. You know who Mr. Wonderful is?
Mr. Wonderful. Watched him growing up. So on Shark Tank.
There you go. Well, Kevin O'Leary was most recently on the Iced Coffee Hour. Shout out Graham and Jack for this. This is about a 50-second clip where Kevin O'Leary shares the blunt advice on how to get wealthy. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let me get this going. Here we go. Nope.
To decide that you're going to put aside 10 or 15% every week. It's so hard to do that because there's always the next pair of sneakers you want to buy that you don't need. People are weak. They don't have discipline. Don't buy shit you don't need. And if you look at yourself and see all the clothes you have you don't wear, you bought them because you had a whim for it or something, but you basically wear the same 2 pair of jeans and 5 t-shirts. It's crazy that you would take that money and put it into something you're going to throw away in 20 months when you could have put it into the market. And the way you put it in the market, if you don't understand the market, you don't have a brokerage account, download one of these apps that does it for you on your phone, link your bank account to it, and just transfer in 10% each week. And then if you start doing that, 2 years later, you'll say, wow, where'd this money come from?
So Mr. Kevin O'Leary says the key to getting wealthy is discipline. What do you think?
Well, I'm doing something like that right now. So I believe that he's right. I just, for context, I just refinanced my 12plex. I lowered my payment. I shortened the amortization. But
wow, double win.
Yeah, so my pay down went up and my monthly payment went down. And my monthly payment went down by $205 a month.
Okay.
So I could just let it stack in the account. However, at that point, I'm more likely to do other upgrades I wouldn't do if I didn't have the money. Right. So what I talked to with my wife, Ashley, and I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have $205 a month auto draft on the same day as our mortgage, and it's going to go to our money market account.
Beautiful.
And it's just going to be the same as it was before. Having the discipline to not enjoy it now, but we're just going to shove it aside. And that way I'm not doing things I wouldn't have done before for, just over improving a property. And I think setting up your auto contributions, you're going to find a way to live as long as you're not like, I'm going to put 100% of my paycheck here. Like, be reasonable, but just set it up and forget about it.
Yeah, there's so much in this little 60-second clip or 50-second clip that I want to hammer on. First and foremost is that discipline, like you have, just auto draft 205. It's not a crazy number, so you're going to feel it. It's frankly a number you've already been paying. So I think that's genius. The other thing he talks about, especially as you're coming up and you graduate, you may get your first real job, you get your first promotion, you get your first bonus, whatever that is just the ability to say, I deserve this. I deserve a new this, a new that. Instead of socking that, you got a 10K raise, put 10K away. Because the whole beauty of getting wealthy is it takes seeds, right? This capital in time. So the more you put in early, the bigger the mountain gets. It's just that simple, Cody.
Yeah. And I'm doing the same thing. Like I mentioned to you last week, I believe it was, I got that 1.8 I'm clearing.
Yep.
And so I was talking about it with Ashley, and it's like, it'd be nice to see my personal 2187 account. That's the last 4. That's what I call it. So, see the personal 2187 account going up. But I think I'm just going to pretend I still have that payment. Instead, I'm going to be paying our money market. It's like, keep the pressure on until we're there.
Right.
So every time we pay off a payment, if it's $200 a month or $500 a month, it just goes to the money market. Now that builds faster, and it'll snowball. But you got to set it up early.
Yeah, you got to sit up early. The other thing, Mr. Wonderful kind of hints at and was a big deal for me is you've got to stop upgrading all the time. Now, when I was coming up, it was upgrading my car, which is a once every 5 or 6 year thing. But now we're talking about upgrading phones and TVs and computers and all, internet plan and just all this stuff. It's just getting on this hamster wheel, and you're staying broke, right? If you've got no money, no assets, and you just got a bunch of fancy tech gear, you're not getting wealthy. You're just sticking yourself in the rat race.
Yeah. I coach youth gymnastics 3 times a week, and there's a couple kids there with nicer phones than me. And they are 7.
Oh,
8. Like, are you kidding me? And my phone's not ancient. Like I have a 15 something or other. Like
Yeah.
it was the nicest phone at the time,
Right.
but how did they have like a 17 Pro Max plus, all
Whatever.
this? Yeah, it's like you're 8.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to drop it and break the screen 3 times before you're 9, probably.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But people are doing that, and they're giving themselves this benefit before they should.
Yeah. When I think about the mistakes I made, because again, I lost a decade being stupid, pretty much like Kevin O'Leary's talking about. From 20 to 30, every time I got a raise or another income stream, I would spend it all immediately. Now, I wasn't living on credit cards, but I didn't have a savings to speak of. No 3-month, no 6-month saving, right? Money came in, we found a way to spend it. And I just thought that was normal. It's not normal. Well, it shouldn't be normal. I guess, unfortunately, it is normal. But we've got to be, if you want to get wealthy, you've got to sacrifice and live below your means. It's freaking step 1 of getting wealthy is you have to have disposable or discretionary income that you can invest. Without this, you can't get wealthy. You can't get wealthy without some seeds, in my opinion.
Yeah, and something that I do, which is helpful for me, and it's probably going to be helpful for the average person, is I have accounts at different banks. So like I got an account at Gisa Credit Union and one at Chase. And I don't see Gisa or Chase. They're not, I don't look at them.
Right.
And so if I were the average person, what I would do is I'd say, okay, $150 a month or whatever I can do is going to go to an account, and I'm not going to even see the account. I don't have a debit card for the account.
I love that.
And that way it auto drafts. You're like, dang, I have all these bills, but really it's just money going to yourself, and you're stocking it aside in a place you don't see. Now, of course, you got to be aware that you have it, but it's more than, I can just look at my phone. I don't have a debit card. I can't spend it. Like it's just going there.
It's an inconvenience to spend. It's funny you bring that up because Olivia, I've talked about this all the time. We have everybody in real estate should have a reserve account. So yeah, we have a reserve account that's actually not connected to any of our other banks. We don't have a credit card or a debit card for, right? We have one checkbook that we keep locked up in a safe. So it's not money that's easily spent. And frankly, I never look at it except when we get one of these emergencies. Like we had a roof go out, I don't know, 14, 15 months ago. I'm like, well, we better go get that checkbook. And right, that's what it's for. But yeah, I mean, it gets used once a year, maybe. I'm sure there's been years it's never been used, but yeah, we keep it at a decent number. And it's funny when I do my financial statement, I always forget that money's there. And it's a big number. So it's funny how we operate the same way.
Now, on something like that, do you make that number a percentage of your total expenses, or how do you look at that specific reserve? Yeah.
So for the longest time, I just increased it, from $5,000 to $6,000 to $10,000 as we added units. But now that we're, way over, 100 units, we just keep a set number. And then when it falls, we add cash flow to bring it back up to, somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 is where that sits. So it's just a flat number at this point because we've never had a year where we've used it. I think last year or the year before was the most we used, and it was like $20,000 for emergencies because we can fund all of our operational expenses out of cash flow. It's only the big capital, like a roof on a apartment building or repaving a parking lot or something like that.
Well, I think that's great. People think that you're just going to have this like massive unknown expense. I think my biggest unforeseen expense was like $35,000, which is a lot of money, but it's also, it's not like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been doing this for 25 years, and even the roofs we knew were coming, right? This one roof that we replaced for 20 some odd thousand, I think it was 22.5. We patched it 2 years in a row. So we knew it was, near end of life. And when it went finally, it was like, okay, that's what the reserve's for.
Well, yeah. And the only reason I had mine, insurance said I was good. And then they said,
yeah, sorry.
You need to change your panels.
Yeah, it's funny. Really? I just had that. I had that on a 10-unit building. They gave me insurance, came out, inspected it, and like, oh, those catch on fire. And I'm like, well, I've owned this for 25 years. We've had no fire. So, but okay, I guess we got to replace these panels.
Well, and I told them about the panels up front, and then they insured, and then they said, oh, we saw it in person. Yeah, these are bad. Like, really? You knew what they were.
Yeah, I told you.
But that was like the worst unexpected. Yeah. I knew I had to do it, but I didn't think I had to do it then.
Right. Yeah. But that's why you have a reserve. Again, every real estate investor should have them, an emergency reserve for expenses like that. To your point, they're not, I don't own anything over 20 units. So maybe if you have a 250 unit, they're crazy, but nothing I have is ever been really crazy. And again, 95% of our expenses just come out of operational. So
yeah, my biggest expenses, the biggest unknowns have come from the bigger buildings because I have a 27 and a 39 that I just oversee with no partners on those ones. And even there, like there's not a whole lot that can really go wrong. And now that I say that, I'm going to get a call as soon as we're off of this. And it's
yeah,
like, hey,
sewer line.
Did one of those last week.
Yeah. I've had those a couple of times. Yeah.
But those aren't even hundreds of thousands usually.
No. I mean, even if you have to break a slab, they're 8 to 15, depending how many feet. Yeah.
So nuts. The world's not falling. The sky is not falling just because.
But let's get back to Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. Again, he's very passionate about this. If you delay gratification, if you set up discipline to chunk it away, and then you do it for years, he said there at the very end of the video, in a couple of years, you'll be shocked at how much money you have. I mean, just think about all the money you waste on clothes. When you're in your 20s and you're trying to upgrade your portfolio from college life to business life. He's like, dude, you got 2 pairs of jeans and 4 t-shirts. I mean, how much clothes do you really need?
Now I got something I want to throw your way from Kevin.
Okay.
I saw another video. I thought this was the one you're going to play because I watch a lot of his stuff, but I'm surprised it wasn't. He has a video that says you have to have $5 million of liquid assets to be considered rich. What are your thoughts on that?
So I have seen that one. That is certainly a billionaire's opinion. I think having 5 million. I mean, again, it really depends on what your net worth is. Like 5 million net worth, for Kevin O'Leary is probably like 1 or 2%. I'm guessing. 5 million for the average ORAT fan is probably 100% of their liquidity. So it just doesn't make sense for most people to be that liquid because you're losing out to inflation. I think, I don't know. Let me play the numbers out in my head. I think we're probably 10 to 12%, liquid funds, but that's because we just raised $1 million but we're looking to deploy it. I don't plan to keep it. In fact, if I do keep it probably more than a year, I'll use it to pay off other debts. But no, I think that's almost comical. It doesn't compute for the average person, right? I consider myself rich. And I can't even fathom having 5 million liquid in a money market account. But I understand the math, right? If you have $5 million, you make 4% on that. That's $200,000 a year, right? That's enough. That's enough for most people, right? I think the question I asked myself, because I saw that video, I'm like, what would happen if we liquidated everything and we paid taxes on everything? Like, how big a pile would that be? I will admit that video spawned me to have that mental math or mental gymnastics. And I was pleasantly surprised with like, oh, that'd be a pretty big number. But I'm still not doing it because I think being that, no, I wouldn't want to expose myself to inflation at that level. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting position to be in, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, I have 7% of my net worth in cash.
Yeah.
I think this is the other thing. You're in a different leverage position. I think I should be closer to 15 because of my exposure level. Like your
LTV is what, 70-ish, 65?
Yeah, I ramped it up to 70 to do like the partnership buyouts and stuff. So
yeah, even after taking out $1 million, we're under 50.
Yeah, you're in a good spot.
Yeah. So very, very interesting. Well, Kevin O'Leary is full of interesting things. We'll maybe find some other videos to react to next time. Cody, where can they find you?
Cody Davis Business Adventures on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.